ago, the Associated Press broadcast. You see a team hit a buzzer to tie the game. You go down in the overtime, and once again, you guys find a resolve somewhere to go through this. You've been through this all year. Can you speak about how this team seems to find a resolve time and again?
Yeah, we talked about it in the huddle heading into overtime. No team is more built for, having a disappointing ending to regulation and then turning around and winning. Like, I've never been around a group of guys, and I've been around some really special ones that can just turn the page. They just turn the page and they just play the next play the right way. And it's a really unique group in that regard. And you don't want to dig yourself those holes. I mean, obviously we didn't want to leave Bellinelli. That's a play they run to post Embiid, and Baines was really conscious of Embiid, and Terry just got tripped up on the screen, and it just happens. Bellinelli hit a heck of a shot. You move on. You get ready to play the next 5 minutes.
Brad, Paul Flannery over here on your right.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Brad. Can you take us through that last ATO, 8 seconds left? Not an easy place to inbounds the ball from Morris's pass to Horford's steal. Was that what you're looking for? Can you just take us through that?
They did a good job. They had Embiid on Morris when he took it out the first time, and they switched him on to Al the next. They switched some screens, and Al was able to seal for the little throw over the top, and that's something we've tried to do before. And we were fortunate that Al made a strong catch, and then made a very strong finish.
Bob Strong, the Citizen. Coach, just to follow up on Paul, were you not going to call timeout when after the change of possessions?
With 16 seconds
yeah,
left?
Yeah, exactly.
I always like to look first. I always like to look. Like, if you have it in transition, sometimes, especially in the NBA, sometimes people stop because of the ability to advance the ball. They just think you're going to do it. So if you can attack first and see. And I was kicking myself a little bit when Al caught that ball in the post when I did call timeout, because it was probably unlikely that we were going to get a pretty decent look with that because they weren't going to leave our shooters.
Brad, Ed Barkowitz, Philly.com. What's your sense of how you guys defended Joel Embiid? It seemed awfully physical out there, and how Aaron fared.
I mean, he's a hard guy to guard. He shot 48 times the last 2 games, and he, shot a bunch the first game. He's going to get his opportunities, and he's going to score some. He's a really hard guy to guard. You have to be physical while showing your hands. I thought they were both great tonight defending. Again, he's a hard guy to guard.
Sharp Blakely, NBC Sports Boston. Coach, a couple of your wings were in early foul trouble, and then you had to dole back their minutes. Speak to how this team was able to play through that, where key guys like Jalen, who's had it going in this series, not out there, but you guys were still able to weather the storm without him and Jalen.
Well, I almost never bring guys out when they have fouls, and with Tatum, I just felt like, man, if we can somehow get to halftime, which didn't look good there for a while, but we kind of, I thought the last 5 points of the first half were enormous for us. Gave us a little bit of calm and a belief going into halftime. And everybody just kind of did their role and did it well. Shane gets thrown into overtime because, again, we're very conscious of Jalen minutes. The doctors and trainers are saying it's okay to let him play, and we're having that back and forth. But we wanted Shane to buy a few minutes in overtime, and first time he gets in, he dives on the floor and keeps the ball alive. But that's what you have to do to win, because these guys are, they're so good and they're so well coached, and you have to play. You have to play exceptionally well and hard to have a chance to win.
Brad, right in front of you, Sal Palantonio. How are you doing?
Nice.
24 points leading scorer, Jayson Tatum. How would you assess his performance tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was good. Again, the foul trouble was tough early on, but then we tried to get him on the wing some with some isolations and different things. The play before we went to Al, that we had to call a timeout because they smothered it pretty well, was just for him to drive it again. He's been very good driving the ball and making the right plays, and no moment's too big. He's got guts. He's a competitive guy. Sometimes I think we we misconstrue some of these slight guys when they come out of college for not being tough, but he's tough and very competitive.
Brad, Howard Eskin, Sports Radio WIP and Fox 29 in Philadelphia. 3 seconds left. Did you expect what you saw when you got the turnover there? Did you expect them to try to get it to where they went?
Well, they've run a number. I mean, they've run. I mean, we've watched them all, but when they've run, 40 ATOs at the end of games, there's only so much you can do. The play before, I thought we knew that Bellinelli hit the shot, and but again, I thought they've thrown it to Embiid in the post on that before, but Bellinelli made a great play, and then they just ran a kind of an inverted variation of that, which has been awfully effective too, with some hand back options and some different things where they can. Anytime you use Redick as a screener, that's a really good thing, obviously. And Al just made a heck of a play. Sometimes it has a lot more to do when you've got a guy like Al who gets no recognition for how good he is defensively, and yet he every night is a tremendous defender.
Brad, Jerry Walsh from Boston. Going back to Jayson, is there any? I mean, you ran the offense through him in the fourth quarter. Is there any kind of interaction between you and him? He misses the free throws. He doesn't lose any confidence. He's unflappable. What's the interaction like with you and him when you are giving him so much responsibility?
Just call a play and get out of his way. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He knows what to do. He's got the mentality to do it. Doesn't mean it's always going to go in. Doesn't mean he's always going to be 11 for 17. I can guarantee he's not going to miss 3 free throws in a row very often. But the way I look at it is the law of averages means he's going to make a lot in a row. So here we go.
Brad, over here to your right.
Sorry. Thank you.
Rohan at Carney Sports Illustrated. Is pace a point of emphasis for you guys? And if so, why do you think the series has been played so much slower than Philly in the first round?
Well, I think one of our things we have to get a lot better at as we move forward throughout the rest of this season and with this group is playing more paceful. And so we have not been a high-paced team all year, which is something that I'd like to increase. But it's not, we don't talk about it. We talk about pace, and I think you're probably referring to it in the full court. Getting more possessions, getting up the court. We talk about pace and cuts, and if we have to shoot it at the end of the shot clock, it's because we've really worked to shoot it. But I don't think we're quite as paceful as we need to be, and I think that's why we struggle to score against these guys. And they're excellent defensively, obviously.
Mark Murphy, Boston Herald. Brad, you talked about that play where Al got the steal on that lob. He made a number of plays down the stretch, obviously. Just how much, with all your young guys, does he tie things together?
Yeah, he's the stabilizer for our group. There's no question about it. When things get going poorly, everybody just kind of looks to Al, including the coaches. We all just kind of stare at Al, wait for him to say something. And then when he says something, we all feel better and take a deep breath, and maybe we can go into overtime and win this thing. Like he's unbelievable.
Did he say anything at the bench?
Coach, again, Michael Longo, AV broadcast. Can you just talk about how surprised or shocked or pleased to be up 3-0, considering how both teams have played so well down the stretch until the end of the year?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is you're just focused on Monday. I don't know, no matter what, you're focused on the next game, and you're focused on trying to play your best, trying to play well. There's a lot of things we can clean up. I don't want us to get caught up in what the score of a series is, if we're down 3-0, up 3-0, whatever. It's funny because the feeling that you can have, right, the human nature of winning by 1 or losing by 1 is, so different. But the reality is you played the same regardless of if Bellinelli's last 3 goes in or not. So, we'll just get ready for Monday.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks, Brad.